www.achatwithglendora.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Okay.
.com.
Okay.
There are 4 half-hour programs up there, and probably 8 more in the next 2 or 3 days.
Oh, this is so great. How did you do this?
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
And it's just like you watch it on your computer screen, just the way you would on the TV screen.
Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. Oh, great.
Yeah, it's full screen.
Oh, my gosh. I can't wait to finish this. I got to see you. You are like the coolest, most savvy person I know. I don't know any of this stuff. Unbelievable.
Yeah, oh, it's wonderful. Can you believe it? It goes all over the world.
How do you do that?
Yeah, it's 24 hours a day and it's 7 days a week. Favorite pastime is playing his wedding videotape backwards so he can see himself walk out of church a free man.
You look as much as they say. Well, thanks for this.
Let me read you what he says. Specifically regarding the judicial reform, our judges generally have not administered our laws in the manner that they were established. That with an objective of administering justice. To the contrary, our judges tend to make decisions which depend more on political and financial power. The words which I am about to use are strong, but I believe that they are correct. Our judges generally have become agents of organized crime. It certainly looks that way to me. Or some kind of crime. Since the influences have been generally financial, and considering that because of such influences, the essence of the laws become twisted, even corrupted, one can use a legal term in English that the judges are nothing less than accomplices to a racketeering enterprise conspiracy. My words are strong, but I doubt that there is anyone to openly refute them. Clearly there are some who are exceptions to this problem. Well, I've never met any. But they are too few exceptions. In the same manner that a medical physician must make an accurate diagnosis of a physical infirmity, we, as participants and representatives of the people, must correctly and accurately expose the truth of our governmental system, even though the status of the system is unattractive, ugly, possibly even rotten and stinking. It is rather difficult to effect any meaningful change in the political arena without openly recognizing the actual conditions which exist. Bob's favorite trick is playing his wedding videotape backwards so he can see himself walk out of church a free man. And the little girl says, "Daddy, does the husband boss the house?" And Daddy says, "No, the husband houses the boss." Did you hear about the woman married 4 times? She married a banker, and she married an actor, and she married a minister, and then she married an undertaker. That's 1 to get ready, 2 to go, 3 for the show, and 4 to go, 1 to get married, 1 to get ready. No. Okay, let's start over again. I don't think we better. I think we better give up. But she married a banker, an actor, a minister, and an undertaker. That's 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready, and 4 to go. You heard about the couple who couldn't afford to go to Niagara Falls for their honeymoon, so they went to the car wash instead? And The husband says, honey, you look the same as you did 15 years ago when I married you. And she says, why wouldn't I? I'm wearing the same dress. There was a sign on the lawn in front of a house. It said, drum set for sale. And there was a sign on the lawn in front of the house next door that said, hooray! You know that you're getting middle age when you go out at night and you're faced with two temptations and you take the one that'll get you home at 9 p.m. A midget fortune teller escaped, and the headline was, small medium at large. And the father said to his son, son, you have to learn from the mistakes of others. You just don't have time to learn them all yourself. And the high school orchestra is really getting good now. You can tell when they stop warming up. Okay, this is Glendora, Chat with Glendora. And there's quite a lot of news today. And we have to rejoice. We have to rejoice. Yeah, we have to rejoice. All people who on earth do dwell, sing to the Lord with cheerful voice. Serve him in mirth, his praise forth tell. Come ye before him and rejoice. Red lilies. Red lilies. And an orange one. Pretty sweet. That's the building I showed you in its underwear. Well, it still is in its underwear. This big building. They made considerable progress. Folks, I wanted to show you this one-lane bridge. If I can remember them. Bob's favorite pastime, is playing his wedding videotape backwards so he can see himself walk out of church a free man. And the little girl says, "Daddy, does the husband boss the house?" And Daddy says, "No, honey, the husband houses the boss." And what other jokes are on there? No two people think alike until it comes to wedding presents. Now Bob and Joan got some very nice shower. They had a shower, a wedding shower. And they got some very nice wedding presents. They got many things that said his and hers. And they got one thing that said us, a United States Army blanket. Did you hear about the couple who got married so late in life that Medicare picked up 80% of the honeymoon? I don't have a list. I don't have the energy to get up and go get it. So I'll tell you some other jokes. Harry was talking to God, and Harry says, "God, how much is $1 million to you?" And God said, $10. And Harry says, "Well, God, how long is 1,000,000 years to you?" And God said, "A second." And Harry says, "God, can you loan me $10? And God said, "Certainly, just a second."
You do?
I just love them. You know why?
No, I want to know why.
Because they're electromagnetic waves. Can you imagine stuff?
See,
you and I can't hear them or see them, but they're going right through the atmosphere into there.
I know that, but you know where else they're going?
Where?
In us.
In us?
Don't you think?
No, tell me what you mean. I don't think
I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe I'm older, you know, all those studies they've done and whatever.
Oh, I see that they heard us. Oh, well, there's no question about that.
I think they do.
I say there's no question about that because
we're all set with Chatham TV. Chat with Glendora is being cablecast every Friday at 9 p.m. on Channel 7. Natalia called them up and said, couldn't they stop it or censor it? Or is there a script that could be read? And she was referred to the supervisor, and he apparently took care of that. You know, you can't sue a cable company for something Glendora says, because the law is very clear on that. Glendora indemnifies the cable company. You can sue Glendora, but you cannot sue the cable company. That's Title 47 U.S. Code, Section 521 exec. I think it's up about around 545, Section 545. Nasty Natalia and Brat's sister Lydia and Mother Maria and Father and Brother Carlos and Preferred Country Properties, a real estate company in Chatham, at 19 so-called Central Square, but it's a circle. Her liar for hire is James Kleinbaum, and he wrote this letter. I'll show it to you. And he says, "It is my understanding that you have been broadcasting derogatory comments about myself, Preferred Country Properties, and its principals. Well, please cease and desist from making any further defamatory statements. If you do not, it will be the subject for a lawsuit of slander and defamation." Only that's spelled deformation. "Please Please also cease and desist from making any contact whatsoever with Preferred Country Properties and its principals. If you do not, you will be subject to harassment or trespassing charges. And down here, Glendora says, well, Natalia now owes Glendora 371 hours times $300 per hour equals $111,300 and $1,401.27 in print, post, and travel. Okay, what are you going to do with these folks? Well, you're going to attack it. And he didn't give a heading or any kind of a court indication, so I said this is circa Bastille Day, 2004, the Village Court, Village of Chatham, County of Columbia, State of New York, United States of America, Preferred Country Properties versus Glendora, 0403021. Glendora memorandum to James Kleinbaum, lawyer for Natalia et al. And she quotes the first part of the letter, okay, and now we'll tack this phrase by phrase, all right? I reproduce it there on the first front page, on the caption page. Says Glendora, there is no hyphen in my name. Where did you get that idea? Had you read my papers, duplicated to you, and I paid for my own duplication. If you remember, James Kleinbaum would go over to the copying machine that belonged to the Village of Chatham and just help himself to copies, make as many copies as he wanted. Dixon's sitting right there letting him do it. Anyway, I paid for my duplication without robbing the taxpayers of Chatham Village. And had you watched Glendora reading of these papers on TV, you would know there is no hyphen between Glendora's unmarried name and married name. In fact, you would be better off using just Glendora. It is my understanding that, you say, well, Glendora has to know, how is it your understanding? Did you see and hear yourself? Did somebody tell you about it? Do you have personal knowledge of it? Do you have proof? Do you have witnesses? Now, broadcasting, Glendora does not do at this time. Cable casting is what you mean. Broadcasting is over the airwaves. The cable TV signal goes through a coaxial cable. And this is what a coaxial cable looks like. It's a cable with another cable inside of it. Great invention. Now, is that what you mean? And Glendora asks, as to what time frame? You do not specify month, week, year, or hour. Quote, derogatory comments, unquote, means what? What are the comments you refer to that are derogatory? Please state them. In particular, state them as to yourself, James Kleinbaum. IBIT as to Preferred Country Properties, and who are its principals? I did not know they had any principals. Please state the comments you have in mind. Now go on to his sentence that he says, please cease and desist from making any further defamatory statements. Well, what is your statutory authority? Please state what statements you have heard, seen, that are damaging, are defamatory, and list them. Now to his phrase, or you will be subject for a lawsuit of slander and deformation. Well, what is your statutory authority, Glendora wants to know. Please state any slander you personally have intercepted. The same applies to any deformation. And by the way, what is deformation? Now, there is no hyphen in my last name. Sorry, I read that to you. Please also cease and desist from making any contact, whatever, with Preferred Country Properties and its principals. Well, what is your statutory authority for that? What law is broken here? Who are the principals? Who are the principals? And first time I spelled principal the way they did, it was just misspelled, P-R-I-N-C-I-P-L-E. And that's a principle, well, one meaning of principle, P-R-I-N-C-I-P-L-E, is a standard to which one adheres. Now, principally P-R-I-N-C-I-P-A-L, he might mean. That would be the officer, so-called preferred country properties. It's really just a family business. It would be Ma, Pa, Lydia, and Natalia. Now, may your law be more accurate than your typing. If you do not, says Kleinbaum, you will be subject to harassment or trespassing charges. Glendora says, what is your statutory authority? CPLR, criminal penal law, or whatever it is, defines harassment as continuing conduct or contact with no legitimate purpose. Well, Glendora has a legitimate purpose. Natalia and all the principals and preferred country properties stole $435 from Glendora plus 9% statutory interest for 1 year, 1 month. That's the security deposit. She has never returned it, and it's over a year. Over a year. 13 months. Add to that conversion. Natalia et al. Commingled the $435 and spent it as their own instead of putting it in escrow. Now this is theft. Thou shalt not steal. One of the big ones. Now courts have strict rules about serving all parties, and all of Glendora's defendants must be served. This is legitimate purpose. So now you are breaking the law. You are threatening Glendora for free speech, and you're threatening America. Very truly yours, James Kleinbaum, and you want to see something that he calls a signature? Here it is. That's a signature. And what kind of a mind does that show? Frenetic? Yes. J-E-K, typed by D-M-A, or D-M-S, debt formation. C.C. preferred country properties. While Glendora says, alas, poor York, let me begin by accentuating that what I have said on TV is public knowledge. Isn't it? Anybody can go to the Chatham Village Court or to the county court, Columbia County, state of New York, and read the record. Or they can go to the Chicago court, United States District Court, where I sued them all, and read the record. It's a public record. Glendora is simply reading a public record. Next big point is that, and I quote him as saying, please also cease and desist from making any contact whatsoever with preferred properties and its principals. And there again, principals is spelled P-R-I-N-C-I-P-L-E-S. How much did Natalia pay for this slop? You guess. Can you guess? Now Glendora says, what is your statutory authority? And what law is broken here? And who are the principals? There is no libel or slander here. That's the next big point. There is no libel. There is no libel as written, slander as spoken. There is no slander here. Glendora has not uttered any lies. In the middle of libel is the word lie. Glendora has not uttered any lies. She has kept meticulous logs. She has extensive footage, both audio and video. Succinctly, she has the proof. She does not allege, she adduces. You are accelerating an issue here of free press. That's exactly what it is, okay? Also, First Amendment is the public's right to know, your right to know. I have a right to tell you, and you have a right to know. That's your First Amendment right. So that's free press. That's the old Peter Zenger trial that occurred rather in the, what was it, 1700s, or maybe, I guess it was 1700s, in Mount Vernon, Westchester County, state of New York, colonies. Also, First Amendment is the public's right to know. Glendora has a duty to inform. The public has a right to know the machinations of landlords, attorneys, and judges that cause people to be homeless. And this is no joke. The people out on the street homeless are put there by nasty landlords, greedy attorneys, and collusive judges who are getting a piece of the action. That is no joke. People homeless? More than one Chatham Village native has bemoaned the rape of rights by George C. Dixon. This goes to the heart of America. It abdicates Americanism, loyalty to and attachment to America, its ideals, its traditions, and its views. Its interests. Now this has to be exposed, and the public must know. I'm looking out for you folks. Now, you made your record. Glendora did not. Are you ashamed of it? The advice of decades ago was, don't do anything that you don't want on the first page, the front page of the New York Times. It's like one of the 10 Commandments. Is the mirror being held up to you? Did you not like what you see? As did not Dorian Gray? Remember that story by Oscar Wilde? Short story. Excellent. Your conduct from the beginning was embarrassing. Not paying to repair your own furnace. Taking 9 days to repair a kitchen sink faucet. Not paying $26 to repair your own kitchen sink drain. Not going over the terms of the lease. Not signing the lease when Glendora signed it. Not providing a copy of the lease to Glendora at the time of signing. Nor ever after. And lying under oath ad infinitum. Now this is a matter of fact. There's no lie there. The causes of action you brought before George Dixon, April the 13th, were never listed in the complaint. You did not give Glendora time to answer with a written complaint. Everything you did before George Dixon, April 13th, was a nullity. Glendora did not like the encounter with you. But it was a call. A clean-up call for America. No, I do not like it. And take the cup from me. But no, I have to go. Where does the Natalia conclave get the money to initiate a frivolous defamation suit? To initiate one and to sustain it. You realize what that's going to cost? And will you be representing yourself pro se? Or will this cost you a huge sum to hire a lawyer. You, a lawyer, hire a lawyer. Remember, you can't collect any money from Glendora because she hasn't any. Now here's Glendora's service list, okay? Kleinbond. Nichols, County Judge. Saricia, Administrative Judge for the 3rd Judicial District. Is it? Or is it the 3rd Department? It must be the 3rd Department. Pumadora, Deputy Judge, Office of Court Administration, State of New York, for the courts outside of New York City. Jonathan Lippman is the what is he called? Well, he's the administrator of New York State courts. But he specializes, he's got enough to do in New York. You know, it's a funny thing. What city in the United States has 5 counties in it? Can you imagine that? A city that has 5 counties in it? It's New York. It has New York County, which is Manhattan, Kings County, which is Brooklyn, Richmond County, which is Staten, Queens County, which is Queens, and the Bronx County, which is the Bronx. A city has 5 counties in it. And why are the people in New York the dumbest people in the world? They have the densest population. To you, Glendora TV ads, and to Judith K., and I do mean Judith K. I don't mean to pass it on down the line. I mean Judith K., Chief Judge of the State of New York, who took the place of Saul Walkler, who went to federal prison. Center for Judicial Accountability Incorporated, the Natalia defendants, Glendora Internet audience, Glendora TV audience, the Dixons, and who to sue. Now this was 15 sections, 12 pages, 6 sheets. It's opus 1174. Took 6 hours, it says here, $13.06. In coming attractions, Glendora goes through the realtors. You know, realtors is a trademark. R, black rectangle with a red R in it, I think. Realtors code, and shows where Natalia Lydia Preferred et al. Violates it. And Glendora's appellant's brief, Glendora versus Nasty Natalia, Brat Sister Lydia et al. Those are coming attractions. But then, when I looked at this paper again today, here are the addenda. Prima facie, and by the way, that's the way you pronounce that. It's a Latin word, and you pronounce it that way. The Romans pronounce all the syllables. Prima facie, the reason you don't want to hear from Glendora is you did terrible things. Lie, steal, and cheat. And you do not want to be reminded of this. But it is going to boomerang to you with accidents, disease, financial ruin, inter alia. Sin has its consequences. Don't you ever forget that. Sin has its consequences. You do not get away with it. The longer you prolong acknowledgement, repent, restitute, and reform, the harder it will be for you. And this works exponentially. You fail to state a deadline for your warning period, but if you sue, Glendora will demand a jury trial. It will accentuate the evil You have done, America. Now here's my new stamp. A chat with Glendora on 44 TV stations equals 440 municipalities, including Washington, D.C. and Albany, New York. Box 124, Ghent, New York, 914. Oh, they left out the zip code. Or I did. You can see Glendora's TV show on the internet. www.achatwithglendora.com. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Stop cruelty to animals. Stop injustice in the court. And sue judges. Then, I am going through the code of realtors. And I am listing, as they told me to. Wait, one more paragraph. You are trying to serve me something certified. Return receipt requested. That came Friday. And I did not accept it. And you never can learn, Kleinbaum and most lawyers cannot, that you have to serve in persona. And also, you have to serve by regular mail. Most lawyers get that wrong. So, here's the Columbia Green Board of Realtors, and they told me to say, I feel that Article blank was violated because blank. Okay. So, I add this codicil. This work is in progress, and it will take a long time because there are 8 pages of code of ethical conduct, and Natalia et al. Broke all of them, I think. Glendora is submitting a Rule 60B motion, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, to Norgal, United States District Judge, United States District Court, Chicago, for relief from his order dismissing my complaint. And she is writing her appellant's brief for Glendora versus Nasty Natalia et al., for which Dixon wrote a return to the appeals court, but never put the order in writing. But this is too much Natalia, but it all goes on TV and the internet. Okay, now, this is the attached statement to the Board of Realtors. Glendora feels that the preamble was violated because Natalia, Lydia, and Preferred did not wisely utilize the land. Glendora took possession of July 1st, 2003 to March 28, 2004. They did not clean it up. They did not do proper snow removal. They did not hard top the driveway. They did not cover the mud at either entrance with a concrete or brick or asphalt walk. There were 3 inches of mud all over the land, the driveway, and the approaches to the doors. Every time Glendora exited her domicile, it took her a half hour to goosh the wet mud off her boots, wash the boots, and a day to dry them. She had to buy additional footwear to have something dry and ready for the next egress. This was also a rank violation of Glendora's warranty of habitability. The warranty of habitability is a law in the state of New York, and I should think in other states, that you are guaranteed by a landlord, you are guaranteed safety, cleanliness, peace, and quiet to enjoy the premises that you are renting. That's the warranty of habitability. It may not be written in the lease, but that doesn't matter. It's a law in the state of New York, whether it's written in the lease or not. You are guaranteed that. Glendora scraped the dry mud off her Mary Kate Ashley shoes, placed the mud onto 9x12 white paper, put it in a box top, took it to Natalia's office with a second request to remedy, and placed it on Natalia's desk. Natalia knocked the box off of her desk in Glendora's direction and spread the mud all over her carpet. She's a mudslinger. Glendora exited, and as she turned the doorknob, the outside doorknob, she heard Natalia say to Lydia, "Call the police!" Now this was false alarm, and Natalia should be charged with the same. Glendora went to Hudson. Natalia is a mudslinger. Now this complaint constitutes a literal misutilization of the land, wetland, that is, mud. 2. This was not the highest and best use of the land in the interests of the nation and its citizens. That's from the preamble of the Code for Realtors. Realtors being a national association with the rectangular R and the red R inside the rectangle. Glendora's muddy shoes dirtied up the post office and all the stores where she did errands and the Chatham Methodist Church. Now the preamble mandates adequate housing. For this and other inducements supra violated, quote, adequate housing and preservation of a healthful environment. And this is what the realtors swear to. Herein are 5 violations of the preamble. Natalia, Lydia, Preferred Country Properties failed the realtor's mandate for, quote, grave social responsibility, unquote, and, quote, patriotic duty, unquote. That's the preamble, page 2. They were not, quote, diligent. They were not, quote, zealous to maintain. Now, next is quoted from the preamble, and next are Lydia's violations of the same. Over here, there's that R I told you about, their trademark. And these things that the realtors are supposed to do and take an oath to do, I assume, these are all violated by Lydia here. The fact that she didn't sit down with Glendora and go over the terms of the lease, that she mentioned only paying for the heat after we'd taken possession of the property, after we'd given her the money afterwards. And that cost $500, that heat. And that she expected us to pay for the water. You don't pay for the water in an apartment. So, you know, what is that? Not sitting down and going over the terms of the lease until afterwards. Glendora feels that Natalia, Lydia, and Preferred Country Properties have committed apostasy. Apostasy. A-P-O-S-T-A-S-Y. Paragraph 6 of the preamble states so-and-so. And so they took the pledge and then abnegated the tenets set below and above, infra and supra, duties to clients and customers. So this is my case against Natalia as far as her holding a realtor's membership. And down here is realtor is defined as. And now page 6 You can see how long this is taking, to write. And this is only as far as I got. It's the first, I think I've got the first 2 pages done out of 8. And I think you get the drift. Well, it's just really too much to do. But, how about some jokes? Harry is talking to God. And Harry says, God, how much is $1 million to you? God said, $10. Harry says, God, how long is 1,000,000 years to you? God said, 1 second. Harry said, God, can you loan me $10? And God said, certainly, just a second. A complete follow-up, another one, by